Now, I know that the Moto G85 for 2024 is launching only on 10th July here in India, but this smartphone is available abroad. So you can buy this right now in Motorola UK's website, and I also went through all the specs, but after going through them, I was a little bit concerned. There are two major factors that will be affecting the sales of this smartphone here in India, and I'll talk about that at the end. But before that, let's take a look at all the specs of the Moto G85. Now you get this in three colors: cobalt blue, olive green and urban grey. Now talking about the chipset used, here we have the Snapdragon 6S Gen 3. Now this processor might look brand new, but it is actually a renamed Snapdragon 695 with just a slight, super slight increase in clock speed. And to be honest, that doesn't make a huge difference in real world tasks. And based on an article from Android Authority, Qualcomm has claimed that this is just a renamed Snapdragon 695. Of course, there are some AI features, but these are not going to be as drastic like what you're going to get with actually modern new chipsets. So because of this, certain aspects of the smartphone have definitely been affected, and you'll notice that later in the video. Now you get up to 12 gigs of RAM, up to 256 gigabytes of storage, and it also supports a micro SD card, and that is up to 1 terabyte. Now the storage here is UFS 2.2 and this runs on Android 14. Now coming on to the actually really nice feature of the smartphone, and that is the display. Here you get a 6.67-inch POLED display, you get curved edges, and this is protected by Gorilla Glass 5. Now this is a full HD panel, it supports 10-bit and it has a 120Hz refresh rate, and it has a peak brightness of 1600 nits. Now even though I'm not a huge fan of curved edges, it definitely gives somewhat of a premium look to the smartphone. Now this is a very nice display and one of the few features that I actually like about the smartphone. So if you're someone who consumes a lot of media, then you will not be disappointed. And with that said, let's talk about the camera. So here you get two cameras, a 50 megapixel main camera and an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and the main camera is powered by a Sony Lightyear 600 sensor, and it has optical image stabilization. Now yes, the specs look really good, but remember the Snapdragon 6S Gen 3, I said it has a lot of limitations, and you will notice that here, because you can take only 1080p 30 fps videos with the back camera. You can't take 4K videos, and in this day and age, not being able to take 4K with your rear camera is definitely a huge bummer. Now this is very disappointing, and with this in mind, I am pretty concerned about the photo quality too. The front facing camera is a 32 megapixel camera, and this has support for only 1080p 30 fps. So now when it comes to the battery, you get a 5000 mAh battery and it supports 30-watt charging. On the subject of charging, the USB-C port here is just USB 2.0, so the transfer speeds will definitely not be as fast as the latest ones. And talking about the other aspects of this smartphone, you have dual SIM support, you get Bluetooth 5.1, you have support for 13 5G bands, you get NFC, and it is IP52 water repellent. Now, to be very honest with you, this is definitely not an impressive set of specs, especially for the price it's being sold in UK. So there it is being sold for £300, and that if you convert it to Indian rupees, it's somewhere around 31,000 rupees. And for that price, this is definitely not a very good deal. But of course, Motorola is definitely not going to sell this smartphone for this price in India, because if they do that, they will definitely lose a lot of respect. But in my opinion, I think they will sell it for around, the 19,000, 20,000 mark, and even for that price. So when you take a look at the Nord CE4 Lite, now even though it looked all good before the launch, but once, people got to know about the specifications, it was not that well received. I mean, it's a decent smartphone, and for the price, definitely not worth it. And that would be the same case for the G85 if it was priced for 20,000 or so. So the first major factor that Motorola should tackle is definitely the pricing. They can't charge this for 21,000 and say this is an amazing smartphone, despite it having the beautiful display, big battery. The processor is still just a rebranded 3-year-old one. When people actually kind of figure that out, it is not going to be great. So they have to actually nail the pricing and not price it very high. Now the second factor is that at this price range, 20,000 and below, there are amazing smartphones, and Poco is actually doing an amazing job of offering the consumers amazing value in their smartphones. And with all these amazing competition around, Motorola definitely can't take the risk of pricing this high. And in my opinion, the only big advantage for anyone going with Moto will definitely be the operating system. So near stock Android, so many people do like that. I do love that. But if they want more people to actually buy this, pricing is very important. So what do you think about Moto G85? Let me know in the comments below. So thank you for watching, and this here is Suman signing off once again. Catch you later.